Hello from Greece, from Athens, from meetups of the Ministry of Testing Athens. I'm Petros. Today, our host will be Nikki, that is an active member of the Ministry of Testing. And speaker will be Yannis from Thessaloniki. So welcome, guys, to our community. The topic today is great. It's about myths about test automation. It's very interesting. I think we're going to have a great discussion. But before Nikki and Yanni, Nikos and Yorgos will remind you of how you can become member to our community. So, Nico.
Hello, and thanks again for your continued support for joining us another meetup of the Ministry of Testing in Athens. You can participate in any of the meetups we are planning, but you can. We are an open community. You can send us subject to discuss it in an upcoming meetup. You can be a speaker. You can also be our sponsor. Thanks to our generous sponsors for all the support all these times since the beginning of our initiative. Of course, we are always accepting new Ministry of Testing volunteers. We will provide all these links at the end of this meetup, so we will be glad to receive your communication. Of course, we also have an email at MoT.org for a quick, for faster access.
Yorgo.
Hi, and welcome from me as well. Do notice that you can find us on almost all social media. We have our main page is always on meetup.com. You can find us on Facebook. Notice that we have a Slack channel on. We have the Slack channel of Ministry of Testing is for the whole Ministry of Testing, but in there we have our own channel for Athens Meetup, and you can always find us on Instagram as well. Also, pay attention before we begin that Petros will soon post on the chat an Excel file where you need to fill in your names for our gift tonight or later on. And now let's pass on to Nikki and let's start.
Thank you, Yorgo. Hi, hello everyone from me as well, and welcome to our last Ministry of Testing of the year. I'm Elpiniki Marinaki, a Quality Assurance Engineer in Athens, and I'll be your hostess for today. Before I say anything else, I would like to thank Petros for this opportunity. So thank you, Petros. And to say how happy I am to get the chance to have an open conversation with many old and new friends and colleagues, because I believe most of us haven't seen each other for quite a long time in real life. So thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a great evening today. So before we start, I must inform you that this session will be recorded and some screenshots will be taken for the socials. So if you don't feel comfortable to be seen or heard, you may close your cameras. Also, we'll have an open discussion later where you can use the raise hand function on Zoom, or you can just type in your question in the chat and we'll pick it up and answer it for you by priority. And last but not least, as also George said, we will have our lucky draw for today, which is a public gift card of 400 euros, thanks to our sponsors. Petros will send out a Google Sheet form during the session that you should fill in order to participate. And who knows, you might be the lucky winner, or I might be this time. Petros, I'm warning you that I will also go for the prize. So, okay, going back to our agenda, we'll first hear our three sponsors, and then we will move on to our main topic, 5 myths of automation testing, presented by John Pourdanis, sorry. So without any further ado, let's start our meeting. At this point, I'm really glad to announce that our first sponsor is Kaizen, where I started my career, and I used to work for 4 years. And specifically, I would like to announce Thanos, who I never got the chance to meet. So let's meet him now. Hi, Thanos. Welcome.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, everyone. Let me introduce myself. I'm Thanos Bokas. I'm software engineering test chapter leader at Kaizen Gaming. It's always a pleasure to see that this great community, Ministry of Testing Athens, continues to grow and evolve. So thank you for having us with you tonight. Let's start right away by switching to the presentation. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So Kaizen Gaming. Kaizen Gaming, better known as Stichiman, is the largest game tech company in Greece and one of the fastest growing in Europe. With more than 1,000 employees across Europe and Latin America, we currently operate in Portugal, Romania, Germany, Chile and Brazil under the name of Betano brand, and in Greece and Cyprus with the Stichiman brand. We provide products for sportsbook and casino entertainment, and just some figures in the year of 2020, we offered more than 500,000 sport events, 250,000 events in live streaming. We had approximately 690,000 active players in all markets and 3 million customer communications, while at the same time we support by sponsorship more than 40 athletes. The Kaizen gaming experience is available across many platforms by providing native applications both for Android and iOS and web application. And as a game tech company with a clear focus on technological development, we're continuously improving our products and our services to provide the best user experience. Okay, but what does the tech department do in Kaizen? Except for developing the Stichiman and Betano platforms, we focus on our infrastructure that keep us live 24/7. So this is a big portion of our projects. And then we have our internal applications. Actually, there are the in-house projects that among them, it's our next generation sportsbook platform and reward platform, which allows us to own our priorities and deliver features faster and provide a smoother and more complete customer experience. Last but not least, we have artificial intelligence and big data projects. In that case, by handling more than 4,000 transactions per second and a vast amount of historical data, we're deploying a real-time artificial intelligence applications in order to offer personalized features, service automations, and anomaly detection. All in all, the aim of the tech department is to leverage the cutting-edge technology in order to provide the optimal experience to those who trust on us their entertainment. But who they are, who are they, this Kaizen tech team? The Kaizen tech team counts more than 250 engineers, distributed in 34 cross-functional agile teams, where we will find the following roles: agile delivery leads, product owners, software engineers, both front-end and back-end, software engineers in test, and some shared resources such as database engineers, DevOps engineers, and product designers. These cross-functional agile teams counts maximum of 9 people. And normally we have 1 or 2 software engineers test currently per team. And all these teams are under some tribes. Actually, there are 7 tribes. And by tribe, we mean a cluster of teams that work together on a specific aspect of the product. For example, the sportsbook, the rewards, the casino, etc. Finally, all these individuals, all these 250 engineers and more, belong to 11 chapters, which are actually a group of people with the same skill sets. For example, software engineering test chapter is one of them. Product owners chapter is another one. Then in Kaizen, we strongly rely on continuous improvement. Thus, we have established several partnerships in order to provide to Kaizen software engineers in tests the upskilling tools that they need in order to develop and evolve. Some of them, LinkedIn Learning, Pluralsight, Agile Actors Partnership. Currently, we have rolled out a program with more than 60 hours of upskilling sessions for our software engineers in test on topics around C# fundamentals, test automation principles, and behavioral-driven development, behavioral-driven testing for our software engineers in test. And last but not least, the Kaizen Academies. Actually, at this very moment, I'm really happy because at this very moment, we're running a Kaizen Set Academy, specifically for software engineers in test. Actually, it's a 3-month full paid intensive graduate program that consists of more than 10 software engineers in test in graduate level, and the graduates are attending sessions such as Agile methodology, manual automation testing principles, behavioral-driven testing, C# fundamentals, REST and SQL 101s, and hands-on workshops on automation testing solutions. At the same time, each graduate works closely with a co-software engineer in test, his buddy, let's say, and in one of our Kaizen cross-functional teams. Okay, one of the values of Kaizen is people first. And normally we say, let's say Kaizen is its people. Maybe it's a cliche, but we strongly believe on that. It is a fact that we count more than 1,000 Kaizeners of 23 nationalities in 7 countries. But most of all, we work together. No matter what it is that we're working on, we do it as one team. We do it as one team in an energizing and in an awarding working environment, and our people agree on that. Actually, 94% say that Kaizen is a great place to work. Thus, we're really proud that we have been awarded as both Europe's and Greece's, as one of Europe's and Greece's best workplaces for 2021. I think I'm running out of time, so we're proud that we have, for what we have achieved, okay, but we have also a lot of dreams for the future. We want to push things even further and inspire many more to join us. So if that's the case for you too, and you want to share the same vision and join this adventure, feel free to contact us. So thank you. Nikki, back to you.
Thank you, Thanos. Thank you for your nice presentation. Okay, moving on to our second great and also well-known company, Mindwave, and to Johan. Hi, Johan. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you very much. I don't have any slides, and it's fantastic that you say we're a well-known company because we're only a startup. For the people that don't know us, we're only 3 years old. We are split over Belgium and Greece, so we also have people working in Belgium. And we are, as I said, 3 years old, 30 people big. And we focus on everything that you as a big company would need to do Java software development. And of course, testing is part of that. And what makes us very special is that even before and after Corona, home working is with us default. So if you want to work for big international customers, because we only have big international customers, and you want to improve your work-life balance by having working at home as your default, then contact me or contact Christina, because we're always looking for good people. Thank you.
Thank you, Johan, for everything. Okay, and for the end, we have left our beloved sponsor, Polfish, and Stelios. Hi, Stelios, welcome.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Let me share my screen. Is it okay? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
It's all red. Okay. So I have a quick presentation. Just to communicate to the people that don't know us a bit of information about Polfish. First of all, I'm Stelios. I'm the VP of Engineering at Polfish. I'm proud to lead 25 plus engineering department there at Polfish. Polfish is not a startup anymore. I guess it's over 8 years in the market. We are in total about 70 people strong at the moment, and we keep growing. We are present here at Athens and at New York. We as I said, keep growing. We currently work from home. We are open to working from home and all that. And yeah, so a little bit about what Polfish does. Polfish is a software as a service platform, and it aspires to change the market research platform, traditionally business. Traditionally, market research, what you did is you went to a company that did this for you. You hired a team of experts, and they did market research for you in order to understand how a particular product of yours, say a new pair of sneakers or whatever, is considered in the market and all that. Polfish and the general trend in the market is for this to change, is for this to happen online with software, with a platform that it is to use, a one-stop platform where you do it yourself actually. And what you do is you, for example, go to polfish.com, register, create a survey. We can think of a survey in a simplified manner like a questionnaire, okay? But it's more than that. So there are specific tools for market research. You select the audience. By that we mean you can target your survey, okay? You can target your survey based on demographic data. So you can target it to Greece, to US. You can target it to women, to men, to various ages, professions, and all that. We ask our audience these questions in an anonymous manner. We don't associate this information with personal data, just with an ID that is not something persistent that can be tracked back to you, okay? And then you launch your survey, and that's it. For example, if you launch your survey on US, where our biggest audience exists, you get your results back in minutes or hours, okay? You can find thousands of respondents for a survey in a few hours in US, depending on the location you do it, you have quick results, and that's the advantage. And of course, in the end, you pay much less than hiring a team of experts and another company doing that for you and coming back with a presentation of what your product, how it performs in the market. Okay, of course, we provide tools on how to analyze and process your data, okay, and various integration methods. once your survey is finished. Maybe I'll say a little bit more. Maybe you're wondering, just 1 minute, how we get this audience of millions. Okay, so there are various methods. One interesting way of getting our audience is to provide a mobile SDK to mobile app developers. So if you are developing a mobile app, you want to monetize that in various ways. One way of doing that is showing ads. For example, in a game, you can show an ad, an advertisement, a video, or whatever. And if the user sees that video, you unlock something for him, okay? And of course, you get paid as a mobile app developer. Now, an alternative way is to present that user with a survey, okay? And she answers that survey, and you get paid a fraction of the money that the researcher pays for each of the respondents we provide with him. And with that and many other ways, panels, for example, that people just do the job, answer surveys to get a few, a small reward for each survey. We get millions of people answering our surveys. So our platform has many well-known brands as customers. You can see here a few. This is a typical marketing presentation where you can see Netflix, Spotify, and lots of other well-known brands. Okay. And well, a few more stuff about us. So our platform is, I would say, a sophisticated one, is totally cloud-based. It's deployed on Google Cloud Platform. It's written in Scala, 95% of it. It supports very high traffic. So, for example, all this audience answering surveys that we distribute means more than 2,000 requests per second that we handle usually. And we don't only provide our surveys to the audience that we have, we also integrate with all the other survey players, market research players in the market, and we fetch also their surveys and show them to our audience. So we have a mix of surveys. And now there are very interesting stuff for an engineer to solve when it comes to a market research survey platform. Okay, I can't, of course, expand too much on this, but one particular aspect that maybe I can share is fraud detection, bad quality detection. How do I understand if it is a bot answering my survey just to get a reward, or someone is just answering the first answer it sees in a question? So we have, for example, a very sophisticated fraud detection system with various checks that we consider in order to accept a result. If you are answering too fast, if you're answering, if you are a straight liner, answering always the first question, if you provide gibberish responses in open-ended questions, all that, there is a fraud detection system that consumes, from our message infrastructure. And in the end, we weight all the factors around answering a survey, and we accept or not accept a response. Anyway, with regards to how we work in a light agile model. We're not that many, okay? These are the teams. So we call researcher teams the one on the client-facing application, the do-it-yourself survey tool. The network team handles, the aspect of distributing surveys and accepting responses and all that. Mobile is the mobile SDK, for example, I talked about just before. Data team, a big aspect of the company is about data and data analytics and data engineering in general. So, for example, the fraud system is something that is under the responsibility of the data team. But we have, an enormous volume of data from all the people that are answering our surveys. And it's all, in deep storage in the cloud and all that. And we continuously run jobs, spark jobs to crunch those data and understand what people are doing, etc., etc. I cannot expand, I guess, too much on that. DevOps team, of course, is about, the managing of the infrastructure in the cloud and all that. We are agile in the sense that we have, of course, a continuous integration system with tests and everything running. We go to continuous delivery a true one. I mean, we go to production every day. We don't have release cycles, that are slow and heavy. And what else? We work in sprints. We have, teams of 6 to 8 people. And yeah, basically that's it, I guess. So the only thing, actually not the only thing, until recently it was the only thing not written in Scala in Polfish, it's our end-to-end QA tests. These are the only ones written in Java. Okay, we have adopted a BDD approach with Cucumber and Selenium. Recently, we also integrated Selenite to have, a cleaner code in our tests. And currently, we're working on Dante Suite. It's a nightly build at the moment, and we are aspiring to make this a blocking step on our pipelines to go to production, like the rest of the tests. We're aspiring to do that in the next few months. We just need to reduce the time they take to execute and all that. Yes, so we're looking for QA engineers, and you can apply in the link below. And of course, you can reach out for whatever questions you might have to me or, yeah, to my colleagues. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Stelios, for your presentation. So by Stelios' presentation, I think our sponsored speeches have come to an end. So at this point, let me remind to anyone who has joined now and missed our introduction that this session is being recorded and some screenshots are being taken. So if you don't like to be seen, you may close your cameras at any time. Also, before we continue, I have some breaking news to share. So in June, our community is going to organize the biggest in-person open-air meetup that you have seen so far. And I have some secret information that it will be in a really nice place with a nice view, but stay tuned to learn more. So now, moving on to our main topic and to our main speaker, John Pourdanis. Some words about John. John is a lead QA engineer, and he is working on a large-scale project on VMware at the moment. He has more than 7 years of testing experience. I hear that he's very passionate about test automation, strategies, and architecture on all levels. And also he's organizing a testing meetup in Thessaloniki. So he's a really active member in our community. So let's meet him, shall we? Hi, John, welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Nikki, for your kind words. Most of people in the Ministry of Testing, I have a great connection with Petros and the team there. So yeah, we get in touch, and I have been in Ministry of Testing meetups there in Athens. I have traveled to be just for the meetup to be there. So yeah. I can start share my screen for the presentation. I will talk about how all these things started to be here today. Let me share my screen. So you will see my PowerPoint, and now I need to do that one. So today, thank you very much to be here. It's very cold outside, so I think that you don't have something better to do it. At least in Thessaloniki. In Thessaloniki, it's very cold outside. So yeah, we will talk about 5 myths about test automation. Some words about me. I'm working on software development industry about for 9 years. And as Nikki said, in testing industry about 7 years. I started my career as a developer. So I have been a developer. I coded a lot in my career before to be a tester. I'm passionate about software quality, automation, and learning, of course. I'm an organizer of Thessaloniki Software and Testing Meetup here in Thessaloniki. We have a great community here, and we organize also meetups. And before COVID situation, we had great events here. And recently, I'm a proud dad. I have a daughter that is about 1 year old. So yeah. How the things are started. The things are started from LinkedIn. I have reposted actually a post of a software testing company called VTest. Excuse me, someone's talking. If you are not talking, please mute yourselves. Okay, so. Okay. Petros, can you take care of it?
Yes, I would mute him, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that. So yeah, I have posted on LinkedIn a post that I found interesting that talks about the actual emojis about this one. Let me do that. This one. So there are myths about test automation. We will analyze it one by one, of them. And the thing is that if you know about the LinkedIn features, you can see some statistics about it. Most of people are very fan of my post. It seems to be the interest of international people. I have many friends of mine there, and my co-organizers on the meetup are from there. But the interesting thing is that, as you see on their jobs, there are about 500 people that reach to these posts, and we have many interactions about comments and reactions and all of this stuff. So the idea comes from Petros that I can lead the conversation for a link coffee, as we do right now, to have an open discussion, and that's the purpose of that, right? We like to have an open discussion about that. And please don't be shy. We are a community. We are like Petros said, and all people said, we are in these times of COVID, we are a long time ago to see each other and talk to each other, so we can share things about what we are working on. So yeah, let me do the next. We are going to see the first myth. The first myth that if you are familiar with that, you have seen maybe somewhere, to try to achieve 100% of automation, right? Doing 100% automation testing. What does that mean? To test everything automated in automated way. The fact is that it will take far more effort to write certain automation tests that it will ever save in manual effort in their lifetime. What that means? For me, there are cases that obvious with the effort of automation, with effort of manual testing, you can check it easily, right? Instead of write an automated test for that. And of course, the second fact is that the automated tests should be quality oriented, not quantity oriented, right? So what that means of quality oriented for me actually means to give business value, of course, and cover critical functionality of your app, your web application, where everything you are working on. instead of, let's say, check the background color of the website. It's obvious that you can see it. You can open the page and see it, and you verify that it's red, let's say, or something like that. The third fact is that it's impossible to check all the options of input on output parameters, of course. You cannot do that. Even if you try to do it, the test execution will take years, let's say, something like that. I don't know. If you are working on an agile environment, the automation process of tests, we will take many sprints to automate all the features, let's say, all the aspects of the feature that you're working on. That this is not the intent in an agile environment, right? You need to have fast feedbacks and all of this stuff. And the last fact is that you need to run at least one time manually to automate them. Of course, as I said, I'm discussing the myths, and if you are expecting to have an open discussion, you can stop me, or you can discuss it at the end. Maybe we'll see. Okay. I will go one by one, and if you want to go back and see any myth to discuss it, we will do it. So the fun thing here, is I found also some funny images on the internet that for each case that shows that a guy here to say to his managers that I have executed tests, so all the tests, so we have 100% coverage now. And he's a Pinocchio, of course. He never understood why his nose grew when he talked about coverage, right? You cannot execute it 100% coverage and test and all of this stuff. Let's go to the second myth. The second myth that we see is the automation testing is superior to manual testing. Yeah, there are many discussions and many posts and topics and blog posts and all of this stuff that talking about what is the best to do, what is the best approach to have it on your career. You know, you're doing on your day 20% of manual testing and 80% of automation and all of this stuff. The fact is that the human intelligence is not replaceable until now. We don't know in the future. The machines cannot do the error guessing. Of course, you know, one of the things that most testers have in their mindset, let's say, is the error guessing thing to try to find out what exactly maybe go wrong, and to rethink all the scenarios and all of this stuff. Also, the knowledge of the domain cannot be done by a machine, let's say, because with day-to-day interaction with the system, you have the knowledge of the domain, and when you try to test the platform, the application, the website, maybe you know something better of that because you have the knowledge of the domain that you are working on. We have seen that as the two sponsors said, one is the marketing, one is the gaming. So testers on working on that have the knowledge of the domain. So this is not something that can happen on the machine way, right? And of course, before in my start of the career, there were a little stuff working on test automation like it is right now. When I started my career as a tester, it was kind of starting as a hype to automate the things. You know, you have some coding skills, and with these coding skills, you get the Selenium, and you try to automate all of this stuff. But the first purpose of test automation was to support manual testing, not to eliminate it. To eliminate the manual testing. And Of course, the last fact of that is that usability and exploratory testing cannot be automated. Exploratory testing, most of the people, as you know, is the core principle of agile testing, right? So if you are working, as I said before, in an agile environment, the exploratory testing with all of the facts of knowledge of the domain, error guessing, and the human intelligence and all of this stuff cannot be automated. So this myth, the second myth, is busted. And the funny thing here is the image that I found that humans work for machines, right? As you see, maybe this will be in the future. And the first thing is that first we automated the testing, and then we automated the deployment, and then we automated the design. And you ask what's the harm, right? Maybe what is going will be go wrong. And you see that the humans are working for the machines. So the third myth. The third myth is that automation means immediate benefits. If you are working for a long time in test automation and all of this stuff, you will see that automation needs time to understand what to automate and how to automate. This is a core fact because many people fall in the trap to starting by using Selenium only. So end-to-end web tests, let's say, something like that, or only end-to-end tests. And they have about no coverage, no unit tests, or have some unit tests, and they have 2,000 automated end-to-end tests. And you will see that this will not go well in the future if you start doing it. I will explain why, but this is not in the purpose of this presentation. There are greater presentation about the test pyramid and all of this stuff, what you need to do. But the people that think that automation means immediate benefits, they are wrong. Also, the second fact is that the mock and test environment setup also it's a hard thing if you are working in a complex domain and a complex platform and architecture of different architecture of microservices or all of this stuff. You will see that the effort that you need to put there is time consuming, and there is no immediate benefit to do that. Also, a wrong designed automation strategy may take too long without any results. So you will try to see that you cover many tests that give no value to you, and maybe doesn't catch any bug, any regression issue, and all of this stuff. And the flagginess, the fourth fact is that the flagginess is a hard thing to avoid, especially to end-to-end when testing. As I said, in the browsers and all of this stuff is there are also many discussions of how you can stabilize it and make it solid and all of this stuff, but it's not a part of the presentation, as I said. And of course, you need to, the last fact is that if you do test automation, you need to think that they are maintaining effort for that, because test automation is a code, right? And the code needs to be maintained, to be well structured, well designed, and follow the principles of software development. And the funny thing here is that the manager comes to you and say, I need you to automate testing this functionality. You can do it that in Selenium, and the full, say, UI testing is most expensive kind. And this is true. If you try to do only UI testing, it's most expensive kind because it has many efforts that you need to do on that. Let me change the slide. So the fourth myth, that is a universal automation tool exists. Yeah, there are companies that try they are working on the tools that try to do a super tool that has it all together. But there are so much different types of tests. The fact is that there are so much different type of testing that cannot combine in one tool. As far as I see right now, there's nothing in the market that combines all the types of testing that you have to do in one tool. Also, the fact is that you should select a tool that fits to your team skills. This is an important thing to have it, because if you try to select a tool that does, let's say, performance testing, it is you write the performance testing in Golang, and no one on your team knows Go. Maybe if you face an issue or you need an advice or a review on your code, no one is going to help you, and you will be alone on that. And of course, the third fact is that there are different operating systems, there are different browsers, mobile devices, that all of them have different ways to interact with them, right? So that's the fact that a universal tool cannot exist, right? And of course, if you are working with legacy code and legacy application, you need this tool, if existing, and where it will have backwards compatibility with all these technologies, right? So yeah, this myth also busted. And of course, the fun thing here is that you always need to use the right tool for the right job. You cannot use, let's say, something for security testing, and you need to do security testing, and you try to use, let's say, JMeter, that is a performance testing tool, right? So you can do it, but the results will be, or maybe it's very hard to do it in maintaining. So everyone, you should always have in your mind that you use the right tool for the right job. And the last myth is that all automated tests should pass always. The myth is the always here. So the thing is that when you try to all these tests that running, you know, in the pipeline, in continuous integration and all of this stuff, and maybe there are operating system related issues that has to do with an upgrade on operating system and make the test fail, the different browser, different versions, the hardware itself, maybe failure and network and all of the stuff. I have seen it, a lot of them. So the failures are common in these cases. They are rare, right? They are rare, but it's a thing that it's a fact that bust this myth. And you need to rethink that if always test pass, seems that they don't catch something, right? So the purpose of test automation is to catch the regressions, right? If something happened in the development process, right, and you broke a core functionality or something very critical for your business, you need to catch it early. And this is the way that all the automation process work, and gives you back that this test failed. So we need to find out why, and need to rethink and go to the developer that wrote the feature and blame him, and hit him and no, we don't do that. We just, I just kidding here. And as I said, the third fact is that too many tests on the UI layer have a chance of failure. This is the case that I was talking about 2 or 3 slides before, that if you are doing test automation in the UI layer, let's say, there are many things that maybe go wrong because we have all of this stuff regarding the browser, the resolutions, and all of these events happening in the browser or in a mobile device or something like that, that have a chance of failure. So the test, all automated tests should not pass always. And the fact thing here is how to pass all your tests. This is a way that you can have to pass all your tests. No bugs, no complaints, no more retesting. You write the code, you execute the code, write the test from you, the execution, execute tests, and voila. This is the way that all your tests, this is the way that all your tests will always pass. And this is the way that I call result-driven testing. That's it. And the most important fact of all, as you know, and of course, if you don't have failing tests, you don't have failed tests if you have no test at all, right? This is the most important fact. If you don't have any test, there are no tests to fail. It's so simple. It's so simple. And I finished here. Here you can now pick up your phone and scan. This is a thing that's happening in nowadays. You can scan my LinkedIn pass to connect, and I share some articles and posts that I find really interesting, and maybe a next link coffee happen with this way that we can talk about something that is interesting. Thank you very much. I don't have something else. I don't know if I have something else. This is my last slide. So you can scan this if the LinkedIn feature of generating the QR code works. We will connect. So yeah, that's it from my side, guys. I will stop sharing, or I can leave the sharing to discuss any myth you want. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you for this mind-blowing, if I'm allowed to say, presentation. You have some really great points there, and I think I saw myself in many of them. I believe most of us did. But before we go to our open discussion to see if other people agree with me, guys, I must remind you that Petros has sent the link for the Google Sheet form for our draw. So please do fill it in order to participate. Okay. And also you may scan the QR code John left us here to see. So now we can start our open discussion. Whoever wants to say anything might use the raise hand function here in Zoom, or type his question on the chat, and we'll call your name by priority. Then you may open your camera and microphone and say your question. So please, people, don't be shy. Okay, we have one raised hand from George. Yes, George.
Yep, okay. Thank you very much for the presentation, John. Give me a second to lower my hand. Yep. Okay, I have one thing to say and another one to ask from your experience. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I'm not a tester. I'm a software architect on my teams. So what I frequently see in my case is that a lot of people try to use end-to-end automation testing to cover parts of testing that really do not belong in end-to-end and UI testing or UI-driven testing. And this is a lot of the pitfalls that we see in end-to-end testing. So we see very long suites, very slow suites that try to test everything from the UI side, and very, very few tests that are on lower levels, let's say on the API level test, or on further lower on integration or partial integrations, or if you are working with microservices on things that work between 2 or 3 microservices. But we see a lot of tests, for example, where all, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 microservices that you have working all together, people try to launch all of them and try to run an end-to-end UI test from all of them with all the services and the full environment running. So personally, I consider that wrong, and I'm trying in my teams to alter that, not always successfully, but okay, most of the times at least. Since I do happen to be the architect, people listen to me. But I need to see you, John. I mean, what have you seen in your cases or your projects or whatever?
Yeah, I can share some insights of my experience of that. So the main thing is when you trying to do an approach of to get the approach of test automation, get benefits of that, you need to have in mind that the entire team supports you. Even the manager, even the developers and all of the stuff. You cannot start, you cannot say that, okay, what we have many bugs, okay, and people and fight and all of this stuff. So we need to hire a QA that will improve the quality. That's not the case. And the thing is that this is not will work if the developers themselves will not have the quality mindset in their mind, right? I have been in a team that joined in a team that have no unit tests. So what we can discuss before that. Okay, we want to do manual testing only. Okay, we can do that, but we need to adapt the automation. The automation starts from the lower levels, as well. All know the small pieces of code that needs to be tested by developers themselves in the unit level, because maybe they are specific on their working language. Like if you are working in a front-end application, maybe the unit test will be Angular or React specific or Vue.js or something like that, any framework specific unit test, and have its own tooling. And then you need to have a great coverage on that. And then if you have faced problems with integration, we need to find a way to automate it, the integration with MoX and all of this stuff, and then go to the upper level to the API and see how this interact with the backend and get the backend responses and all of this stuff to build the pyramid from the bottom to the top, right? On the top level, you will scenarios only. In my case, that's what I would suggest. If you are trying to cover all of this stuff end to end with the browser or something like that, there are cases of flakiness. There are cases of hard to maintain things, and the most of the time you will spend to maintain what you have written as a tester also, because there are people that joined in a company and don't have many experience and have some coding skills and try to automate things, and what the manager says, it will do it. So take all these, the managers come to you, and he has a Jira filter, right? That has all the test cases, and he say, okay, do the first myth, automate it, all of them. And the thing that you know, it's you have the Selenium and coding skills, and you select a framework, and you start one by one, do the login process, etc., etc., etc. And you find in the trap after, let's say, 6 months to have 500 end-to-end tests, let's say, that takes 2 hours to execute it, and have cost maintenance and the infrastructure maintenance and all of this stuff and of course the failure that because something is changed on the locators in the UI and the test broke and all of these things that we know, right? And this is the things that we try to avoid. I don't know if I cover your thought.
Yep. Petro, just give me a couple of seconds more. One thing I wanted to note is that the whole idea around, we're using an UI based on Angular. Let's run the UI tests using, I don't know, Angular's tool. Well, you did notice that this year Protractor, for example, someone pulled the plug. So even that thing, which seems like a very rational idea in the beginning, it can backfire. That's just something that for people to keep in mind. Another thing that I want to point out is at some point you mentioned that automation cannot cover some things like usability. Indeed, it cannot. I'm currently running a project that is based on the UK government's GDS system. GDS is their design system. So it is a very strict way of how you deliver user interfaces and how the user interfaces should look and operate. And it should be fully inclusive for all people, even with disabilities. So accessibility is a big issue there. There is a separate team that runs accessibility tests using accessibility devices. And by accessibility devices, I mean not you install in your browser, I don't know, an extension like NVDE or something like that. That is the normal stuff. But they really use hardware screen readers, other stuff that most of us and probably most normal companies would not have access to these devices. So this is indeed something that you need to keep in mind, and this is specialized knowledge in order to test that stuff. But I would need to point out that at least partial accessibility testing can be automated up to a point using Axe, the Axe library. But it's really only part of the way. Yeah.
Let me take the the pass from you because I have done a presentation about about the accessibility testing in our meetup, and I can share the thoughts about that. Many thoughts. When you work in a large company like I work, VMware is a totally huge company. There are about 30,000 employees or something like that, right? And VMware products used by many million people. And the thing is that in the US, at least, in the US market at least, government and banks until now, I guess, and most of people following, they don't buy the product of you if it's not accessible. So in VMware, what we have, what VMware has is, as you said, an internal team that is the accessibility team that contains people with problems, with visibility problems, with some disabilities. And this is the accessibility testers, we say in them accessibility testers. They are people with real problems that try to use the product. They found some bugs and they reported them on, and we as a team have to fix them. Of course, we added some kind of, as you said, some kind of automation of that with not the Axe. We use the developer tools, what Lighthouse does. the Lighthouse, the accessibility score. You know, when you open the developer tools, you have the Lighthouse tab that do the accessibility check and give you a score. So in every time that we add it as a step on the pipeline, so what we do is open the browser, do the check, and if we have a threshold that we say we need to be under, let's say over 70. The 70, what that means is it's analyze itself and do the what the Lighthouse library does behind the scenes. And if these scores go down, you need to fix that because it shows us that we are going in the wrong way when we change and add components to the UI and that it's not accessible and all of this stuff. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Everyone, Petros, we want to ask something else?
Maybe first from the chat that we have to.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, actually, we're having some questions here in the chat. So, Clement, would you like to ask your question? Open your microphone, or would you like me to read it? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because I was late in the meeting because I went outside to get some break. But I one question that I think that for me, because I'm doing automation testing mostly the last 2 years, I think that for me, regarding the API automation testing, I think that because there is something that can be fully automated about 100%. So if I say that there is some myth about automation, I think that regarding the API testing, the automation test cannot be a myth. This is a real thing that can help many and save the project.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I cannot agree about the API automation test. That is a myth.
So for the API automation test, is a myth, or there are myths that has to do with most of the myths that we covered was about doing 100% of the API testing, right? You can do 100% of the API testing. What's happened, I will say what's happening if you try to do 100% on API testing and you have from the background 20 microservices that connect to each other and interacts and all of this stuff. This is the things that you need to know before you start to do the automated things. The myths are trying to cover that if you try to do 100% of automation, if you try to use the wrong tool, universal tool to do things, you can, and as I said before, the thing is that all the layers that you need to cover, you need to start from the bottom, right? You need to start from the unit test, you need to start with the integration test, and then you need to have the integration test, and then the API test, and then to the top, you need to have the end-to-end test. There's no myth about the API automation testing, in my opinion, I guess. Yeah, in my opinion. There are things that you try to avoid, right? And things that you try to do well to have a well-structured testing that gives value to your business and to your company that you're working for. That's the case.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I can go up with my second question.
Yeah, sure.
With my small experience in automation, I think that regarding the UI testing, that the user effect on a browser, I think that for me, the automation testing is about to save my time regarding the stable feature to avoid some repetition of the action. So I think that there is not, it is not possible to automate all things in the project. that affect the UI, the user action. So regarding the myth, and based on that, before to automate some feature, we have to do some manual testing before to automate. So if I ever that I cannot cover everything without manual testing, this with this thing on the mind, I think that the feature of the testing, how do you think that the automation test will help in the future?
Yeah. So on the first myth that I said is that if you try to do the approach of doing 100% of automation, you need at least once to test it manually, right? So how you write the automated scenario even before you don't have it already tested at least one time manually. So the future of automation, there are many kind of things happening right now, even with the machine learning and all of this stuff that is happening. But I'm pretty confident that until now, the human intelligence and what we as testers do, like a company select us do the job, is our mindset, right? The mindset that we have to try to find the things that maybe break the application, to do all those scenarios, and of course, with the support of test automation, we can do great things, right? If you are feeling boring to do a repeatable process, as you said, repeatable process, you know, always try to check a data table with millions of entries and all of this stuff. Yeah, this is the right candidate to automate it. And this automation process and stuff will help you, of course, to avoid to do a boring job, right? Because the stuff that you try to do is to not always check the same things every day you are working, and all of this stuff. And the automation efforts, with what it comes in automation, we will help you to improve yourself in any kind of things that you are trying to, and of course, the thing that I'm thinking of, as the technology and the architectures and all of this stuff evolves, it should involve the automation behind that, as we do. That's my thoughts about that. I don't know if I covered you.
Yeah, one more clarification. So you think that in the future, the automation will cover many things than today?
Yeah.
We are going on in automation, but until now we have something that doesn't work as we to help us to save our time.
It will be in the future, of course. It will be supportive as it is right now. The manual testing will not be dead.
No.
If this is your question, it will not be dead. It will not be dead at any kind of it. It will be, you need to have the human mindset to test properly. As I said, the agile principles, if you are working in an agile environment, the exploratory testing is a thing that is from the core principles of it. So exploratory means you need to explore. You know the features, you know the requirements, you know it's all of this stuff that needs to be delivered, and you explore the features and do the testing of that. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clement, for your questions. I see also Pourdanis has raised her hand. Pourdanis.
Hello, everyone. John, thank you so much for the presentation. It was a very nice one. I have a question for you, if you can share your experience. I'm really excited to listen about it. Was there any need in the past for you to try to convince anyone that the myth is right, your manager or a client or whatever? And if yes, for which one? I'm really curious. And of course, what did you do to convince them? I mean, what were the elements that you used for convincing them? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Fortini, for this question. That is the reason that, as I said, with Petros, we decided to do this one. We see that all people see the myths, right, and interacts with them and likes them, right, and raise their hands. That they are facts. Yeah, what they cannot be. They are myths. We need to bust them, right? And yeah, and I say my comments to the post is that we are all talking about them, but we are all interacting them, but no one's talking about them. That's the reason that we want. So yeah, I can share my experience on that. I have let me think what of them I have faced. I have faced in my first job, I have faced the 100% of automation. As I said, I have faced the issue that the manager doesn't have any experience of automation. The automation was a hype in the beginning. They heard and see one thing that in the internet that say, okay, we can do automation tests. Selenium was in the first versions of it. So it comes with it shares me, it was an Excel spreadsheet actually, with all these cases that we have done. And he said, okay, you should start to automate it. Okay, and how I managed to convince them that there is not the appropriate way is that I show him 5 examples that they are not the case that they give any value of that to do it automated in an automated way. It's a common thing that you can see on the first side when you log in on the application, let's say. It's the first thing that if you don't see this, okay, what else? And we try to avoid some, so we do the escalation and we try to filter some of them, most critical and all of this stuff. I have faced also the myth of not the superior, the immediate benefits, of course. I have hired by a company that it was a startup and they were thinking that their problem was the automate, that they were missing the automation testing, and they hired me to do the job. And they find it the way that the developers are were not, they have no familiarity with testing mindset at all. They have no unit test. They have nothing in the process, right? Nothing in the process that covers. They just do the code. Okay, it works in my machine. Push. Get out. That's it. And yeah, that was a process that we need. Of course, when you join in a team and as a tester, the first thing that you need to have, it's very important. What I have seen in my career is to have the support of the upper levels, of the C levels. This is, if you don't have this one, you will shut out without any reason. You will argue with developers, you will argue with product managers, you will argue with Scrum Masters without any reason, and you will have to leave this job because it will be a toxic environment for you. That's the case. And the last one I want to share that I have faced, the all automated pass should always pass. I have experienced that all automated pass always pass, and we realized that they didn't catch the critical bugs that we have in production. And the whole effort that we have in the automated team that we have there it was a totally disaster. That's what's happening next. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pourdanis, for your question. Actually, I think that the phrase "it works on my machine" is the most common we hear from developers. I remember in Kaizen, in my team in Granada, that we had an inside joke with developers that whenever something didn't work, they used to say, "Okay, reboot," and it's fine, it's all good. So
yeah, one of the problems that Docker solves behind the scenes of microservices architecture and all of this stuff is this one, right?
Yes.
When you have the runner that has the Docker image itself that it's shareable to everyone. This is that it's not working at all. That this is working my machine. That's working machine. It will run everywhere if we are the same image. Yeah, that's it.
True. Okay, so Nikos.
Yes, just to follow up on the question of Pourdanis, and to share my experience in this subject. I once had a customer that was really insisting on having 100% automation of all applications functionality. So I couldn't convince him otherwise. So I literally sit down and I calculated the cost in an hypothetical full end-to-end in a very detailed plan with all the areas and all the variations of the test to be covered. And of course, even the plan to have a full automation was not possible. But anyway, I closely approached it, and the figure was more than 7 figures in the cost. A couple of millions to fully automate it, and I presented this to him, and using this approach of breaking down, I really convinced him, and we took a different direction.
Thank you, Nikos, for sharing that. Yeah, of course, the cost is, as I said, on a small image that I found. It's the UI, at least, is the most expensive one.
The higher the pyramid, the more expensive it is, right?
Yeah.
Nice experience, Nico.
Yes, true. Okay, Petros, would you like to share your question?
Yes, I just want to share a story, a funny story, and then to ask a question. So in one of our meetups that was here at the Samuel Stewart, the creator of Selenium, he had this speech about Selenium and that we have to do only a few, I don't know, automation tests and things like that. So after Samuel's talk, one sponsor, I'm not going to say who, from which company, in his speech said that we do 100% coverage of automation. So Simon told me, I guess he didn't hear anything from my speech. So I don't know why in Greece, big companies that usually works from top down, not bottom up, think that 100% of automation is a successful rate or something like that. I don't know. But this was a funny story, and I remember this thing. And I would like to ask Yanni a very typical question, but I think it's very important. How do you choose your automation tool? I mean, you know, there are so many tools right now there, Cypress, Selenium, all these tools, and how do you choose? How?
Yeah, thank you, Petros, for this question. This is a thing that I was worried about also in my beginning, before 1 year in the VMware. You know, the thing that the facts that you choose and the things that you have in mind, you need to have in mind before you choose an automation tool is what it fits to your team. Because as you be in a part of the team, as I said in my presentation, if you try to choose at least we're starting from the coding language, right? If you try to choose it something that is not convenient to the team's coding language, let's say, or the team's experience, you may be you are doing something wrong, because at least you need to have maybe you have stacks on something and you need to find a way also about the architecture of the code. You will, if you try to choose a right tool that everyone uses, let's say JavaScript, you use TypeScript or Golang or something like that. If you try to fit with that, you will get also the help of developers, and this will be increase the mindset that believes that developers and testers are haters of each other, and it will help to understand what exactly needs to happen. And of course, the second thing is that you need to, as George said, you need to follow some standards of the community, because as we said, okay, Angular decided to stop supporting Protractor, right? It was a mess that was happening there, and most of people try to adopt something else because, and of course, when you try to choose, you need to do the investigation of many different aspects of pros and cons. Cypress gives out of the box structure and have great documentation, great community of that, and have videos when executing failures, retries, and all of this stuff. It's a commercial tool. Okay, open source project, you can find, okay. But there are restrictions. If you try to do a proof of concept, that's my approach. You start by doing a proof of concept of the core concepts and some more tricky tests that you automated, let's say, with the Selenium way. You try to do it on Cypress, and when you face it, at least for my side, at least one reason that Cypress wasn't working is because we have a very complex authenticating system that is has to do with SSO, that it has to do with many redirections and you need to get in this way. It didn't work at all because it works in one window and all of this stuff. So you do your research in about 2 or 3 great tools that exist right there, and you do proof of concept, of course, to your team, and you say, this is the Selenium way, this is the WebDriver IO way, this is the Cypress way. We can select together with the team, not alone. If you do it alone, you will fail, and you will fail issues. That's my.
Just give us an idea about the next Lean Coffee, Cypress against Selenium or something.
Yeah, maybe you can do that. We can do that. Yeah.
Okay, I think Nikki, it's time for the draw because it's 8:30.
Okay, sorry.
Do you want to add something, Thano?
I have, okay, I'll try to be as much quick as I can. I faced 1 year ago, I tried to solve this problem, but then we had 7 different frameworks in 5 different programming languages. Currently, we have only 2. That's really, we had a lot of improvement this year. And I've done proof of concept in Cypress, BDD by using Cucumber, Java, and Selenium. It was another one, the second approach. And the last one was by using Playwright. It's a new tool, It's Microsoft's tool. Kaizen in general is .NET. It's all around .NET world. In any case, I totally agree with John. The problems start to become. It's not Microsoft. Okay. No Microsoft at all. Yes, okay. The problem starts to come up when you focus in details. For example, you have too many iframes. If you want to switch on tabs, if you want to make this happen with Cypress, for sure, I like all this luxury by having all things out of the box and reporting and all this stuff. But when you're trying to do something more complex in terms of different tabs, iframes, etc., it's a blocking issue for you. In the other side, on the other hand, Selenium was something with great community, supported too many things. But again, you have to start building your boilerplate code as always, make your policies, your retries, etc., or not retry the test. I mean, you have to have a policy regarding the waiting time, the interactions, the stale elements, etc. Playwright came over and brought all these, overcame all these issues, but they don't have the community. So it's a risky decision since you don't know that, such as a protractor, maybe in 1 year, you don't have this kind of tool. So it's always a tedious process to find out the correct tool. In order to apply this to a big team, you have to have in mind the time for the upskilling process. Because when you change the technology, you have to work proactively in order to give the time to the people to upskill. Sorry about the delayed reaction. I have one more comment if you.
Yes.
Okay,
Go
nice.
ahead. Yes.
It's always, I face some of the things that John already said. I have faced them too. I think that the main issue in the companies is that they believe that after the corresponding headhunting and hiring process of someone that it will have a position QA set, whatever, test automation engineer, that these efforts of these individuals will ensure that the product is released in quality. And this is not true. I think this is another myth that exists out there. Testing itself cannot ensure the quality of the software. All testing can do is give you a certain level of assurance, the confidence, for example, in the software. On its own, let's say, the only thing that testing can do is under specific controlled conditions, the software functions as expected by the test cases that have been executed. That's all. The quality of the product, which is our final goal, comes with a mentality. And strategic decisions. Maybe it's a testing pyramid, the isolated environments for sure, a unified test plan for sure. What I mean by a unified test plan, I mean to distribute the test cases according to the test pyramid in a reasonable manner, to having transparent results, for sure to cover some of them in automation, but these strategic decisions together with the mentality is what brings the quality product and not the testing itself. John, thank you a lot for the presentation. It was a great one, and hopefully I will join in your next two, since I didn't have I didn't have experience again a presentation from you. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Just a comment and go to, and I hope that I will the 400 euros of, because I joined also, 400 euros of public. We always need to be proactively. willingness to act proactively, always as a tester. It's a part of our mindset. Go on, Fourdani, sorry. Fourdani, I said, oh, sorry, Nikki, sorry. You said my surname wrong, I say
Yes,
your first name.
I made you Cretan. I'm from Crete.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now I think we are over with the open discussion. Thank you all for your illuminating thoughts and talks. Petros, will you join me for the draw?
Yes, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay. So fingers crossed, it will be me. I've never won.
Okay, so we have from 2 up to 30. So I'm going to click here the random number in Google. That is Skourelos Dimitris. Skourelos Dimitris, show yourself.
Dimitris.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
It's my lucky day. Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations, Dimitri.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you will write.
Congrats, Mitsara.
Thank you. Ευχαριστώ.
Too bad, Dimitri, we haven't acquired yet the tickets. Sorry, it was a bluff.
Okay.
There, John. Next
Thank
time.
you for your personal data.
All right. So before we do the closure, let me tell you something about Petros, our organizer. Petros is been invited to speak at the official BBC Tech meetup. You may find some info on LinkedIn. So congratulations, Petros. Okay.
Congrats, mate.
All right, and I think this concludes our online link coffee, the last one for this year. I don't have much to say except for thank you all for being here and for having me today. Also, I want to thank our organizers, our main speaker, John Pourdanis, for his great presentation, and also, of course, our sponsors, Kaizen, Mindwave, and Polfish for their contribution. Thank you all, guys. I wish you all the best for the Christmas holidays, and have a good night. I'll pass you to Petros now. Petros?
Thank you, guys. And wait until June that we're going to have the biggest open space meetup in Greece that you have ever seen. We have some surprises, but you will check it out later.
Gianni, get ready to come from Thessaloniki in June.
Let me know 2 months before to close the tickets, to take the tickets, right?
Summer in Athens.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all.
Bye,
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Merry Christmas all. Bye.